Welcome to One Book, One Review. Today's book is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky. I've had this book in the back of my head for a very long time, but I was reluctant to read it because it means a lot to a friend of mine and I was afraid I might not like it. But now that I finally read it, I can't believe I missed out on it for so long. I don't want to sound too enthusiastic, but I love this book! Once I started reading, I couldn't stop. The Perks of Being a Wallflower is a coming-of-age novel in the tradition of The Catcher in the Rye. The book follows 15-year-old Charlie all through his freshman year in high school. Starting a new school makes Charlie feel very nervous, as most of his peers regard him as a freak. It's not easy for him to participate, as he's more of an observer than a doer. Nevertheless, he manages to become friends with Sam and Patrick, who are already seniors, and they introduce him to a lot of new things, like parties, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and dating. But as the novel progresses, it becomes more and more obvious that there's something not quite right with Charlie. Okay, that shall be enough about the story. I don't want to spoil you, but I also want to talk about why I like this book so much. The novel is written in the form of letters from Charlie to the reader, whom he calls dear friend, and describes as honest, loyal, and understanding. He frequently addresses the reader personally and talks about the importance of writing and mailing these letters. This draws the reader deeper into the story and makes him feel closer to Charlie. Another big plus for the novel is the time it is set in, 1991. It is a time before mobile phones, the internet, and iPods. People made mixtapes for each other and called someone on their parents' phone. But what really works for me here is that I turned 16 in that year, so I can relate to the narrator on a level that I cannot with other contemporary YA protagonists. I also like that his English teacher gave him extra reading assignments, making up a good reading list for people who love books. Another very strong part of the novel is the friendship between Sam, Patrick, and Charlie. Charlie benefits from this connection both positively and negatively, but what is more striking is how well they stick together and deal with all the shit that they have to go through. I especially think that Sam and Patrick are really good friends to Charlie when he's suffering emotionally, which he does a lot. Furthermore, I was intrigued by Charlie's search for what is wrong with him and his quest for the happiness of others. There are so many more things I enjoyed about the book, but I think it shall suffice to say that I'm glad that I finally read it. Next, I'm reading Twilight by William Gay. Thanks for watching One Book, One Review.